Standard of Practice 16-16. Realtors acting as subagents or buyer agents or brokers shall not use the terms of an offer to purchase to attempt to modify the listing broker's offer of compensation to subagents or buyer's agents or brokers, nor make the submission of an executed offer to purchase contingent on the listing broker's agreement to modify the offer of compensation.
Well, let's take a case, Saul, in which I'm the listing broker and I had offered through the multiple listing service to cooperate with you and to split fees and maybe pay $5,000 if you brought in a buyer in that particular transaction. You have a buyer who's interested in the property, but the $5,000 may not be, enough for you, and so you decide to modify the offer of compensation by adjusting it in the offer.
Where we actually put something in the offer to purchase that says Saul's going to get $10,000 from this sale instead of $5,000. I don't care what your agreement is. Saul's going to get $10,000. Can't do that?
And that's going to result in the listing broker being in a position, where they're reducing their commission. You can't do it because it had all been offered and prearranged, and now you're modifying the terms. You should have told the listing broker before you even came in to show the property that you weren't going to go along with that offer of compensation. Because now the listing broker is in a real bind. They have their primary loyalty to their seller. They don't want the seller to lose the property, but now you're adjusting their commission.
See, particularly, I think you throw the multiple listing service in and the rules there, where they're actually offering and giving that cooperating broker the ability to make some money, and then that broker could turn around and try to upset the apple cart on the listing contract side. And we're just saying that based on this standard of practice, that's a violation of Article 16.
16, but it's a very controversial area. There are a couple of case interpretations covering this, and there seems to be a distinction if it's not the cooperating broker who is modifying the terms and conditions, but let's say it's the buyer themselves who say, listen, I'm going to compensate my agent, but the way I'm going to do it is, in my offer, I'm going to make a contingent on the seller crediting me $10,000 so that I can pay my buyer. And if the seller goes along, with that, then that's not a violation of this standard of practice. And then, of course, the listing broker is going to have to talk to the seller about what kind of adjustments, if any, they're going to make in their stated listing commission.
Standard of Practice 16-17. Realtors acting as subagents or as buyer agents or brokers shall not attempt to extend a listing broker's offer of cooperation or compensation to other brokers without the consent of the listing broker.
Well, sometimes listing brokers do offer cooperation and compensation to just a few brokers in town. And it might be because this is what their seller had directed them. There's a couple of case interpretations in which the listing brokers found that other brokers were coming to them saying, well, aren't we going to get cooperation and compensation as well? And when they find out that one of the first brokers had told others about that, they find a violation of this particular standard.
So 16-17. Standard of Practice 16-18. Realtors shall not use information obtained by them from the listing broker through offers to cooperate received through multiple listing services or other sources authorized by the listing broker for the purpose of creating a referral prospect to a third broker or for creating a buyer prospect unless such use is authorized by the listing broker. Well, we see who's in control here, right? The listing broker.
Listing broker.
Standard of Practice 16-19. Signs giving notice of property for sale, rent, lease, or exchange shall not be placed on property without consent of the seller or the landlord. That's pretty self-explanatory.
And very consistent with state law as well.